You ever asked the Lord a question? Why do people go through certain things? You ever asked the question, why do you? You know, well, Jesus, it was no different in Jesus' day. Jesus' disciples came to him and they saw a man that was born blind. But they came to Jesus and they said to Jesus, good master, the Bible said he saw a man that was born blind. And his disciples asked him, Lord, who did sin that this man was born blind? Now, that doesn't seem like a very complex question, but if we peer into it, we'll see that it had more theological quandary than it first appeared. First of all, it poses a theological differences that separate the Sadducees from the Pharisees. One did not believe in the resurrection of the dead, and one believed in reincarnation. So the question is, how can you sin before you were born? So that meant that it implied that a carnation or a reincarnation or another carnation that you go in through. And that lends itself to another teaching, which is Hindu teaching. So Jesus knew that they were trying to trick him. Sometimes people ask a question, and the whole purpose is to trip people up. See what you know. So they asked the question, but his disciples asked the question out of sincerity, probably because somebody had asked them that same question. Who did sin? So taken from the Gospel of John, chapter 9, verse 2. So sometimes we go through things and we wonder, why am I going through this? And the answer really is pretty close. When you get it, say amen. All right. It said, and Jesus passed by. Uh, he sees, he sees, he saw a man which was blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parent, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, neither has this man sinned nor his parent, but that the works of God should be made manifest. Now, the answer to their question was neither. Some things happen for the glory of God. And what I'm saying is, what the devil meant for evil, God turned it for good. Not saying that being blind was a blessing, but saying that in spite of this, which would otherwise appear as a challenge, God get glory out of every situation. God get glory out of every obstacle that you face. And whereas yours may not be that you were born blind, you may have another problem, another situation. And you may wonder, Lord, why must I suffer this? Why am I going through this? Or why was I born? You could ask the Lord, why was I born to a family in poverty? Or why was I born in the South or born in the North? Or why was I born with these adversities? Whatever the case may be, there comes a time when you're going to ask a question, and the answer is sometimes God give you a challenge to bring your brilliance through. I bet you never thought about that sometimes your challenge is to bring your greatest brilliance through. Light never shines so bright as when one begins to see. Words never sound so clear until one begins to hear. We can go through our whole life and never hear. Not that we are deaf or mute, but that we fail to hear. And we can go through our whole life and never see. And yet there's one who is sightless that can see the brilliance of God's glory without ever opening his eyes. So the challenge is we must understand that the hand of God is on your life. God did not make an accident or a mistake to put you in the situation that you're in. And every situation that you're in is to bring glory and honor to the Lord our God. Every situation. You may wonder why. And I myself have wondered about some of the challenges that I've faced. And sometimes you ask a question. I was talking with a man and he had sickle cell anemia, and he said to me, with all the things that he could accomplish, he had a drawback. And that was that inhibited him physically. It didn't mess with him emotionally, didn't mess with him intellectually, but physically his body didn't respond to the way he wanted it to. There could be physical limitations, there could be emotional limitations, there could be mental limitations, but in spite of your limitations, it's a chance to give God glory. Now, if you look at this through the eyes of grace, I think you'll look at your whole situation different. Stop complaining about the challenge that you've been given, the assignment you've been given, and celebrate it and see the brilliance of it. I'll give an example. You know, it is predisposed how tall you're going to grow. I don't care how much you love basketball, you're not going to grow to 6'9", 6'7". If it's predisposed that you're going to be 5'4", 5'5". It doesn't matter how well you like water. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a swimmer. We're predisposed. Our height, our body mass index, our intellectual prowess, our possibilities, our capabilities, pre-programmed in our DNA. God has already determined, but we can make the best of every situation. We can make the best of every limitation. You're only limited by your imagination. Because the word tells us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Being told that you have a disability, that you will not conquer it and you will not be successful, is not the end, it's not a cutoff. You would be surprised to know that Albert Einstein, who was told that he would never be a good student, reshaped the concept of mathematics to the world. Now, there are three things that he had as a disadvantage. Number one, he was Jewish in Europe. Number two, he came to America not having family nor pedigree. His sister, of course, we know, and he could have, his sister, who was of the same genetic pool, did very little. Number three, internal prejudice and shaping. In spite of all of those limitations and boundaries, he broke the ceiling and came one of the most brilliant mathematicians and the most brilliant mathematician in modern history. One of the greatest stories, and this one that I don't regularly celebrate this person, but Thomas Edison was went to school his first year, and his teacher placed a note, pinned the note to his lapel of his jacket, and sent him home. And his mother read the note, and she started, and the note, she kept him at home and began to teach him at home. Society put limitations and boundaries on us that will prohibit us from developing our true brilliance. Sometimes you got to protect yourself from the outside voice that will prohibit you from developing. You could be crippled by critics because the critics will give you a voice of depletion, and it will prohibit your independence. Thomas Edison never knew, as the story goes in his biography, that he went on and became the leading industrialist in the Western Hemisphere and brought light, brought us electricity, AC current. He brought us so many wonderful discoveries, over 2,000 patents. Now, I'm not celebrating because I know we all know that like Seals had Roebuck. But Thomas Edison got news that his mother was on a deathbed, and he returned home to their small home, that small one-bedroom house. And there at the house, he was going through her things to sell up her estate. saw the box that she kept her precious items in. And there was the note. She kept the note that brought tears to her eyes. And she protected her son Thomas from ever knowing what was on the note. And the note read, "Your son is too stupid to be in school with the other kids. Please don't send him back. He's incapable of ever learning, and he will never amount to." And she wrote at the bottom, "He is an idiot." Frazier, had his mother not had the tenacity and the internal strength to believe in her child, she would have took that negativity and she would have crippled herself and forever crippling her child. But Shannon, she was not handicapped nor impelled by negativity. You got to close the outside voice of negativity. You must reach for your greater brilliance and give God the glory for your challenge. Now, I know that's an odd thing for me to say. Give God praise for your challenge. When you got a challenge before you, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to handle it. But the truth is, God give us specific challenges to bring glory to his kingdom. Right. God knows that everybody can't handle everything. So he don't give everybody the challenge that he gave you. God knew that you was up for the task, so God gave you a specific challenge, and you meet that challenge. And I know some of you say, I never thought I'd have this challenge, but God gave you a challenge. So sometimes people don't understand that the road that you're traveling, Pat, God chose that road for you. It was pre-carved that you should take this course. It was predetermined before the foundation of the earth that you will have these challenges. But your challenge will give God the glory. It's how you meet the day, how you meet your challenge. Don't cry over it. Don't give up. Don't surrender your challenge, but arise to the occasion. Stand up and give God the glory. Who did sin? They said, did his mama sin? Did his daddy sin? Or did he sin? Jesus said, neither he nor his parents sinned, but that the kingdom of God may be glorified. You ever thought that maybe this challenge that you had is an opportunity for you to give God the glory? You ever thought that maybe this challenge that you had was an opportunity for your brilliance to shine? Everybody wasn't born. Some people, God had to bless them with normalcy because they couldn't handle the abnormal situation that you were in. There are some people who had to walk on thin ice and walk on the bad side of the track because God needed somebody to go walk in a place that people weren't willing to walk. God needed somebody to forge the way so that the way would be easier for somebody else. Somebody asked Trudeau when he crossed the river, he crossed the rushing waters of Indiana, and they said he cut the tree down after many hours of maneuvering to get across. They said why. He got to the other side and he cut down a large oak tree and made a natural bridge. They said, why did you do that? You're on the other side. He said, I want to make it easier for those that's coming behind me. Sometimes you got to think about those that's coming behind you. You know, we used to say, well, if I get crossed, I don't care who come by. You know, I used to listen to the preacher preach, and I said, all I care about is if I make it. I don't care if don't nobody else make it. And I don't even care what happened after I make it. And he said, you got it wrong, but I was 8. I just knew that I didn't want to go to hell, and if anybody else went, that was on them. I didn't understand why we got to tell other folks don't make it, don't go to hell. Why we got to spend all this time? Because you should always think about how you can help somebody else. Your journey should help somebody else. You should help somebody else go further by the obstacles that was in your path. By you overcoming your obstacles, you're helping somebody else. You don't know who's watching you to see how you handle what you're going through. You don't know who's watching you to see how you handle the stress, the pressure, the attacks, the criticism. But if you handle yours, they can handle theirs. By you not giving up, Clint, there's people that won't give up. By you not throwing in the towel, there are others that won't throw in the towel. Let me tell you something. Your life is a banner to somebody else. Your parenting is a banner to someone else. Your marriage is a banner to somebody else. You're showing them, look what we did, you could do it. Look what I've done, you could do it. You're hanging in there, finishing school. It's somebody saying, I feel like giving up. Many nights, many hours, the pressure to quit closes in on you. Pat, that's time comes when you just want to throw in the towel. There are so many people that decided, I'm going to let society handle my problems. And they bow out of society. Then they have children that come behind them. As soon as they get to that point, they bow out of society. You've had every opportunity to be nothing, but you chose not to give in. You've had every opportunity to give up. You've had every opportunity to fail, but you didn't. You chose a standard and you held that standard high. You chose a standard and you raised your standard in spite of your pain, in spite of your past. And that's the thing about the past, it's like a ghost. It hurt and it haunts you, but you got to let it stay there. In the past, I was angry. In the past, I was broken. In the past, I was needy. In the past, I was unsaved. In the past, I was lost. But now, I'm more than a conqueror. Now, I am victorious. Now, I am a winner. Now, I got joy. And the joy of the Lord is my strength. Now, I can praise God all day. I can thank God for my children. I can thank God for my parents and the upbringing. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying, do you? God had to get you through it to get you to it. You don't know how you got to this success you're at. God had to get you through pain, suffering, heartbreak, and rejection. You know what? Rejection is one of the best. You don't learn from applause. You learn from boos. You don't learn from winning. You learn from losing. You don't win from celebrations. You win from you win from scours, put downs, being ostracized. Let me tell you something. Psychologically, the best teacher is isolation. That's why you don't need to try to grow in the presence of a crowd. You grow better. When Jesus went into the garden, he was alone. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. There was no outside intrusive voices speaking to him. He only heard the communion of the Father and he himself. Sometimes you got to close out the outside noises of intrusive thoughts of unrighteousness. Sometimes you got to close the window to your critics. Sometimes you got to shut up the noise around you to hear the voice clearly. One writer wrote, I never saw so clearly as when I closed my eyes. I never heard so much until I closed my ears. When you close your eyes to looking at everything everybody else is doing, then you can see the brilliance God got for you. When you close your ears to the negativity around you. Are y'all with me this morning? You are different. You are wonderful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are uniquely you. God is not looking for a carbon copy of anybody else. God wants you to be an original. You're better as an original you than a cheap copy of somebody else. Be yourself. Celebrate yourself. Somebody asked me, well, what happened to the blind man? Let me hear somebody say, what happened to the blind man? And Jesus healed him. And Jesus healed him. Healing comes in many forms. Healing is dealing. When you can deal with you can heal with. If you can't deal with it, you can't be healed. The Bible said, rather, let it be healed. God can heal you of your situation. God can heal you. Let me tell you something. There are so many times I see people and they're in prison by their own thoughts. They will not develop. Oh, y'all don't hear me, do you? There are people who are in prison because they're impaled with failure. Failure look good on them. They wear it like a garment. It follows them like a ghost. It goes everywhere they go because they are now married to failure. But let me tell you something about winners. Winners learn from losing. It takes losing to realize that's a space you don't want to be in anymore. Losing helps you understand. The psychology of losing is this, and it makes you a winner, is that I don't like what I feel. I don't like where I'm at. I don't like what I'm getting back. I will never be here again. I will never lose again. I will never surrender. I won't give up. I won't turn around. I'm forging forward with all of my life. I will fight with all I got. I refuse to lose. I refuse to quit. I refuse to turn around. I'm going forward. I'm moving in Jesus. Jesus is my anchor. Jesus is my rock. Jesus is my joy. Jesus is my salvation. I will not quit. I will not give up. I will not surrender. I'm never going back to failure. I'm never going back to broken. I'm never going back to depression. I'm never going back to anger. Why? Because I got an internal battery on the inside of me. Greater is he that is in me than that he that's in the world. Oh, praise the Lord. I am a winner. I am victorious. My trials and my challenge was given to me because God knew I can take it and I'll make it. People make fun. You were born out of wedlock. Born in a headlock, born in the back of a Chevy, born in abject poverty. You're never going to do anything. You can draw inspiration from Jesus. Your sordid past, your spotted past, your failures in the past only reflect the brilliance that's within you. Greater is he that's within me. Because the Bible said they asked the question when they found out Jesus' dwelling place. Can any good thing come from Nazareth? Sometimes people see us and they wonder, how did you do it? How did you make it? How are you standing? Sometimes people try to let you know they know something about you. I know where you come from. I know where you grew up at. And if I came from this and became this, and you came from this, and you're down here, which is the greatest story. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You were born in the laps of luxury, and you did nothing. I read a story. One of the first books I read in the 6th grade was a dog named Sounder. And I read that story about Sounder. And it was the first African-American book that I read. And I was discussing it with somebody. And Linda, that was our time. You know, you remember that, don't you? And I said to somebody about the dog, he just had a hard life, hard go, even to the end. But then they said, but it's not the fight, because every time I turn around, he was in a fight. It's not the dog in the fight, but it's the fight in the dog. You got to have some fight in you. I won't quit. You got to have some fight in you. I won't surrender. You got to have some fight in you. I've been knocked down. I've been bankrupt. I've been broke. I've been broken. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. What did you get out of this? Failure is not final. And there's never a promotion without a test. God gave you a test to get your promotion. Oh, y'all hear what I'm saying? Don't take away my struggle. Don't ask God. Jesus said, Father, I pray not that you take them out of the world. That's right. Don't take them out of the struggle, but give them strength in the struggle. Don't take them out of the struggle. When you take away the struggle, you make folks soft. That's why we got so many children around here soft. Soft men. Still looking for somebody to bail them out. Believing they have a false sense of entitlement and feel like the world owed them something. Soft people, when things get rough, they faint. Soft people, born in softness, and they want everything soft to come to them. They don't want hard life. You know, somebody sung that song, I'm coming up the rough side of the mountain. And I hated that song. Every time I heard that song, Shannon, it used to make me cringe. I'm coming up the rough side of the mountain until they showed me in Colorado a smooth mountain. And they said a smooth mountain is unclimbable. And when you got a rough mountain, you got something to hang on to. Stop looking for smoothness. Stop looking for ease. Don't let the smoothness fool you. You can't climb a smooth mountain. You may have had a rough mountain, but you kept climbing. You may have had a rough start, but you kept going. The race is not given to the swift, neither the battle to the strong. I was reading the story about Usain Bolt. I think I said his name right. Usain Bolt didn't have no sponsors. He didn't have no endorsement. But he showed up with one thing that the other racers, and it was, I forget, 42, however many it was, didn't have. He had one thing. There was guys out there with Reeboks. There was guys out there with Nike. There was guys out there with all these other sponsorship. And they had trainers. They had folks with water bottles. They had folk with change of jerseys. They had folk with spray mist on them. He showed up with some homemade shoes. Homemade shoes. Cliff, I started thinking, what if he had had some Nikes? Woo! He ran like lightning in them homemade shoes. Clint, I wonder what some Reeboks would have did. Can you imagine what some Chuck Taylors would have did that day? He didn't have any endorsement. But when the race was over, he had endorsements. He had sponsorship. You must arise to your challenge. Lance Armstrong, parents was told he had an undeveloped lungs. He had undeveloped lungs, and his legs were skinny, and he would never be much on the playground. Lance Armstrong, he goes down in history as the most celebrated. Now I know y'all, well, the most celebrated of any medalist. I don't want to hear. I'm saying he could have not been in the race. And that was the swimmer name. Phelps, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps won more medals. I know. I don't want to say he cheated. But what I'm saying is he swam his way from poverty. Swam his way from obstruction. Swam his way from obstacle. You got to do something and be good at it. George Sometimes we meet folks and we haven't figured out yet, can you be good at one thing?
All right.
Some people are only good at talking about other folk. Some people, and when you find folks that are not good at much, they try to talk about everybody. When you find folks that have not mastered anything, they want to put everybody else down. Oh, he did good, but he ain't all that. Let me tell you something. I hadn't met a person yet. I don't read the Bible from cover to cover. And I found one thing I hadn't read, but one person in the Bible that was perfect, and that was Jesus himself. Everybody else had a fatal flaw. So when people come and tell you, and let me tell you, folks make excuses for not doing anything. Folks make excuses for not being brilliant by saying, well, you ain't doing everything right. No. But I fell forward. You know what failing forward is? I fell, but I fell forward. When you fall forward, you're still across the goal line. When you fall forward, you still finish. When Proverbs says a just man will fall 7 times, but he gets up again. You know the definition of a champion? You know the definition of winning? Y'all can have this one for free. Christian, you can put this on your tag on your car. Y'all can have it for free. I'm going to give it to you. This is my last one. The definition of winning is getting up 1 time more than you was knocked down. You ain't got to get up but 1 more time. I know some of you wonder, Lord, why do I have this challenge? Why? Some of you may even ask, Lord, why I got the family I got? Or why, why? I'm closing with this fact. I don't care what you got to face. I don't care what your challenge is. You can meet it. And it gives God the glory. Do you know that some people, when they die, they do an autopsy and find out they had things? John Ritter, the actor that died at 53, he had a faulty valve in his heart that he wasn't supposed to live past 20. Do you know there were several people, one of the runners that died, in her autopsy, they discovered that she only had 1 lung? Do you know that there are people who have had brain deficiency when they were born and only to discover that they achieved greatness because nobody told them they couldn't do it? If you listen to the negativity, you'll stop. But if you go on and accept the challenge that God's given you, you can move in brilliance and you can achieve your greatest task. Don't be handicapped by criticism and don't be limited by isolation. Do what God has called you to do. God has something for you to do. And God want to make you great. Listen, you can be from a great place. You can come from a great place. But you give God the glory, and the brilliance comes back when you can come from obscurity and make it great. Jesus came from nowhere and made that nowhere somewhere. Bethlehem is the most famous city in all of the Middle East, and it's not known for anything except the fact that Jesus was born there. Jericho was an old ancient road, thousands of years old, but it became known only after Jesus walked the dusty roads of Jericho. Listen to me. Don't come from a famous place. Make where you from famous. Let your brilliance shine through. Accept your challenge and don't faint. Accept your challenge and don't falter. But arise to the occasion and be all that God has called you to be.